Thank you very much. I'm Inspector Richie Taylor. I'm the commanding officer of Community Outreach at Police Headquarters. Our responsibility is to oversee community affairs functions for the New York City Police Department, which includes reaching out to community leaders, to clergy leaders, elected officials, civic organizations, and really anybody that wants to make a positive change in their community. I know it's a tremendous challenge that we've had in the city. No one in this room is naive to how many different challenges that the police department has to face. I can tell you that your police officers still fighting a good fight, whether it's issues with the district attorney, whether it's issues with the state legislature, whether it's issues with the city council. Your police officers are still going on the streets day in, day out, including right now, including the midnight tour that's going to be coming up for the next platoon. And we do it because we know that the vast majority of people in the city want to see good things happen for their families, for the next generation. We have so much at stake. And thank God now, we have a mayor who gets it. Mayor Eric Adams knows just how important it is to work with industries, to work with leaders of every aspect, including real estate, of course, including with security, with construction, with companies that really make a difference, a positive change in the communities. I was just fortunate to travel to Israel just a few weeks ago with Mayor Eric Adams' Chief of Staff, Frank Garone, with the Senior Advisor to the Mayor, Joel Eisdorfer, tremendous friend, tremendous leader, with the Commissioner of the Mayor's International Affairs Office, Ed Mermelstein, and with the Senior Advisor for Public Safety, Tim Pearson. Went to Israel's delegation for a week. We learned about new initiatives on how we can help New York City, the residents of New York City, flourish, how we can bring back to our city ideas and concepts that work across the globe in Israel. Israel's a democracy. They have a lot of similar challenges that we have here. So to have the conversations that we've had with not just public safety that I did, but part of the delegation where they went to different corporations to get different ideas, to exchange information, that's innovative. And it's not just Israel, but it's to so many other countries, other different governments. And the sole purpose is to help New York City, the people of New York City. Just to get more specific about what we're here today. So like I started off, there's no one here who's ignorant to the challenges facing the police department, facing law enforcement in New York City. Bail reform, just for one. We have made so many arrests for firearm possession. We've made more arrests for firearm possession the past 6 months since Mayor Eric Adams took over than practically any other time in history of the city. And we see the same offenders being arrested again and again and again for firearm possession. This is not for a low-level crime. This is not for something that no one's going to get hurt anyway. This is carrying a loaded gun. And we need consequence. We're working very hard to see that through, but speaking to everyone here, very real. A lot of times for loaded firearm possession, we don't see the consequence at times, many times, that we should see. We are fortunate, just to speak briefly about hate crimes, and also should be on everyone's mind is the uptick in hate crimes across the board. Anti-Semitic hate crimes leads the hate crime category. We were able to, with the leadership of Mayor Eric Adams, we were able to have some reform on bail reform. When bail reform was first initiated a couple of years back, a person who is charged and arrested with a hate crime charge would be really released back into the general population without any type of bail able to be set by a judge. That means that we have defendant so-and-so who was arrested for a hate crime, and the hate crime aspect didn't mean anything because of this bail reform. That means that perpetrator was let back onto the streets without a judge even able to set bail, even if the judge wanted to. Recently, the past month and a half or so, again with the leadership of Mayor Eric Adams, Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell, we were able to now get that change. And now if someone's arrested and a hate crime component is charged, a judge has back the discretion to set bail. So the ship is coming the right way. That'll get out there more. You know, you have a large ship in the ocean that's been going the wrong way for a while. We know it's not going to just turn as a 180-degree on a dime, but at least we're getting it back. At least it's not continuing that forward motion of that wrong direction. At least we're getting it back to where I know everyone in the room here wants it. It does take time. A lot of people have to be on board that ship to do it, which unfortunately still a lot of people are not. But as much as the mayor can do with his part of the wheel, which is actually not as much as a lot of people think, but whatever he can do, he's fighting a good fight, not just by words, as everyone here. He's going to Albany. He went to Albany at least twice already, just to speak about reforming the bail reform. And he's doing it with intelligence. He's doing it because he knows that we can't have the city prosper the way things have been going. To speak directly about the real estate industry, not construction. And if you have, I know graffiti is a topic of concern, because it's like the theory of if you have a kid's bedroom that has a toy on the floor or a piece of clothing on the floor, and then another toy or another piece of clothing on the floor, we, of us know here that it's not going to take long for the whole room to be a mess. But if we see that there's two toys laying on the floor, two pieces of articles of clothing, and we tell a child, clean it up, and it gets clean, that room should never become a mess if we stay on top of it. Same idea with graffiti. If we tolerate that tag on a building, if we tolerate that everyone knows that corner could have graffiti, that breeds criminality. It's going to breed people hanging up maybe signs, who knows what kind of signs, maybe gang signs even graffiti. Sometimes there are gang messages in there, or taking over a corner with territory. That's a big part of gang, is territory. A lot of times it's speaking about retaliation, which of course is gun violence. A lot of times it's just people hanging out in a corner that would make someone feel unsafe to walk past there. No one should feel unsafe to walk past anywhere in New York City. Part of the police department's job is keeping people safe and to do the best we can to ensure that people also feel safe. It's not good enough that people are safe, but feeling safe is equally important. And if you have that graffiti there, people hanging out, that may certainly lead to people no longer feeling safe in that area. So when it comes to graffiti cleanup, we work with a strong partnership with the mayor's office. We work with my bureau, the Community Affairs Bureau. We work with the leadership of civic organizations, nonprofits, to get that graffiti cleaned up. And we do it because, just like I mentioned, the articles of clothing on the floor, the toys on the floor, we don't want to have a community, to have a neighbor, to have a block that people feel that has been lost, or they're no longer safe to walk past there. So if there is graffiti, if there is type of anything that is breeding that, I'm going to give some information here today as well. Just before I give you the email address and phone number on how to take care of that, another equally important concept when it comes to people feeling safe, which everyone I know in the room wants to feel safe. For personal reasons, for family reasons, for business reasons, for practical reasons. If there's a package stolen, which we spoke about, worth not much, but it's still stolen. You have it on camera, you know it's almost a lost, UPS delivered, whoever it is, FedEx. It's important to report that. We should know, we have to know where crime is occurring. Obviously, I'll discuss also different ways to try to prevent that as much as you can, which I'll speak about later security, I'll speak about camera systems, speak about signage. But anything that happens to your property of a criminal nature is important to have that phone call made to 911. And the phone call, I get this question a lot. A package stolen, people ask all the time. Should I just go to the precinct? Should I call 311? And people are hesitant to actually call 911. The absolute answer to that is 911. It's a crime that is committed. It's property that's stolen. it falls back to a lot of the concepts I just spoke about, that if you tolerate a small crime or tolerate that graffiti, more things breed. So if we have a package that's stolen there, that's going to lead most likely to more packages stolen, to maybe something of a tremendous value being stolen, maybe car thefts outside. I'll speak about also in a moment. So it's important to have that done. I know time. Our number one challenge, I think, a lot of times during the day is time. That we don't have time to wait for the police. It does take time. I'm not going to tell you here, oh, your call 911 will be right there. There's a priority order of crimes. Obviously, crimes in progress, or robbery, or burglary in progress, and assault in progress. These are priorities that we go to. There's even police officers decide to go to a package theft in the past, and as they're even a block away, a crime in progress comes over the radio, like an assault in progress, burglary in progress. That police officer will be redirected to that location, and that sets the whole thing back. What happens there is an arrest. Those police officers take the arrest. So a lot of times, it does take time for a police officer to get to a location for a package theft. Similar to a car accident with no injuries. Because of what I'm speaking about with time, it used to be in New York City, say a few years back, 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, if there was a car accident, a collision with no injuries and no criminality, meaning that everyone's on the scene, no one is drunk, the police would respond to take that police accident report. And I'm being very real with everyone here. A lot of times it would take 3, 4, sometimes even more hours, right? Not exaggerating. Am I keeping it real here? We realize that needs to be relooked at. And how do we speak about efficiency? We're people all waiting for 4 or 5 hours. And one of the ways that the police department came up with is that no longer will police officers respond to a car accident, to a collision, without criminality. If there's just a fender bender, again, no one's drunk, no one left the scene, then the 911 operator will advise the person who called 911 for a car accident to fill out something called a civilian accident report. You can get it on your phone if you just Google NYPD accident report. It's actually fillable either by PDF or by pen, and you mail it out. So no one's waiting on the scene anymore. You exchange information. Obviously, someone doesn't want to exchange information, there's allegations of criminality. Police will respond, and it may take a little time, or maybe more than a little time, depending on what's going on. But that was one way we alleviated the backlog of jobs. One way that we could free up police officers to respond to other more important things than a car accident without injuries, without criminality. So that's just one thing that we did. Again, if you call 911 now, that's the instructions that the police operator would give. So we're getting efficient, we're getting there. Speaking about, again, though, I wanted to touch on with your actual buildings. The police department offers for free something called a crime prevention survey that I don't know if really many people in this room now took advantage of, but you will absolutely love what I'm about to say. You should. For free, completely free, you will have an expert, a police officer, whose expertise is in crime prevention, to come to either to your residence, to your building, and they will do a thorough survey of how you can make your structure, your property, safer. Whether it's lighting, which a lot of times is not expensive, a lot of times the recommendations that we give are very cheap, and it makes a world of a difference. But sometimes you need a fresh eye to look at something. If you own a house, or you own a building for 5, 10 years, a lot of times we lose sight of what we're seeing, because we're so used to it. We just see what we saw 5 years ago, and we don't really see the changes. We don't see what's important to edit. So having a fresh set of eyes, with that keen sense to what's important, to what you can do to reinforce for security, is just wonders alone. It could be as simple as cutting down bushes, maybe moving bushes somewhere else, maybe signage. If you have a security camera where you keep on getting hit with crimes, a lot of times it takes to advertise that. Say security cameras in the area. Now there are legal issues if there are no security cameras and someone puts on that there are security cameras in the area. If someone's a victim of a crime, there may be some legal recourse to an attorney before you put up any signs that say camera area if there aren't. But if there are cameras in the area, you can certainly advertise that. And a lot of times, people who are looking to do some trouble may just feel it's better to move on to the building a block away. That's our idea in New York City, to keep pushing crime away from where we are here, keep pushing criminality away. And again, getting somebody whose passion is in crime prevention, you getting somebody who's not going to make recommendations to what company to use. We never, as a police department, we're very careful. We never steer business to a company. We never, ever recommend a certain logo or company because we don't want to be accused of, well, the police department only says to put on new locks or new lighting because they know the owner of such and such company. So we're very careful never to steer business. But we are careful to say that there are plenty of people out there who can fulfill your needs, and a lot of times, again, not expensive. Again, it's not lighting, if it's the locks, if it's signage, if it's the presence that someone is paying attention, that it doesn't look like no one's paying attention to that building. A lot of times it goes a long way. And certainly, we all do it, we're all busy, day to day. You may have property managers, you may have people who work for you that's supposed to be on it, maybe not as good as they should be, or maybe they feel they're good enough. Just that extra set of eyes, like I mentioned, to see how there could be some improvement. A lot of times, a small amount of improvement goes a very, very long way. And if I can leave with any message, it's that. It's sometimes the little things that go a long way, not just for crime prevention, but for so many things in life. But take advantage of that. Now, I'll give everyone contact information on how to easily get everything that I'm saying. I'll give you phone numbers, I'll give you email addresses, and I'm not just doing it to say, okay, I checked off the box, gave everyone an email address, and everyone is good. That's not the case at all. I'm doing it because you should take advantage of it, and then you should tell other people, hopefully, how positive the experience was with the police department. If you think of it of a double positive, you're getting a free crime prevention survey, and you're also making a connection to your precinct. You're getting to know a police officer who serves right in the area, right in the precinct where you either live in, live for your home, live for a property, live for a building, and you're getting that connection that there's a problem. If you see that graffiti, you see people hanging out, you may not want to call out. Even though I'm telling you crimes in progress, you should. A lot of times, I'll give you cell phone numbers. Anyone, even after, I'll say after. I'm going to show you a way to get direct email addresses to police officers who patrol not just your precinct where you're located, but the actual small zone that you're located. We divided every precinct there. In New York City, we have 5 boroughs that everyone knows. Something that maybe don't really know, maybe not many people know. We have 77 precincts. And out of the 77 precincts, we divided each precinct into either 3, 4, or 5 different sectors. A lot of precincts have only 3 sectors, so 4 sectors on average. I'll give you the way to get contact information for police officers who actually are responsible for your small sector of that precinct, that you have a direct connection to them, that there's that problem. You say, hey, you could either call or email, this is going on. And you're actually doing the police officers a favor because they want to show productivity. In order to get promoted in the police department, especially for the ranks of your patrol officers to become a detective, showing productivity is really the #1 way to get promoted, and they know that. We have something called the NCO program, Neighborhood Coordination Officers is what I'm speaking about. Those officers are on a type of track to get promoted to detective. And the best way to do that is word of mouth, is their reputation. We base promotions on reputation, on work ethic, and results. So you're giving them that opportunity to show that they can clean up a building, they can clean up a block, they can clean up a community. And if you're so pleased, if you write a letter, either to me, you're so pleased, you write a letter to the police commissioner, write a letter to the mayor, which happens a lot. You'd be surprised how many positive letters that we get from people, to the mayor's office, to the police commissioner's office, myself, I get it. It goes a long way. Police officers know that. Especially you say, you were really great. How can I, flame this for your boss? How can I bring this to attention of your superiors? And they'll appreciate that. And it's not really, time consuming. It could be an email. It takes you 2-3 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long thing. People say so-and-so was great. And that police officer knows that they had a relationship, that positive working relationship. It goes a long way, that mutual respect is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to take down some information that I'm speaking about. So first and foremost, to find your police officer who's responsible for your small sector of your precinct. If you go into a web search, NYPD Find My Precinct, you will see there's a search bar that gives you how to find your precinct and sector. If you want to do it now, I'm speaking, you're more than welcome. It comes up, again, just doing that search, NYPD Find My Precinct. It says find your precinct and sector. Right on the actual page is search for your address. You put your address in. Say we're at 1100 South, everyone know where? South Avenue?
Yeah.
So everyone sees, just they want to do it. So it just showed me, we are in the 121st precinct. It just showed me that we're in sector C. Like I told you, there's like 3 to 5 sectors in the precinct. So this is C, which is 3. And it gives me the names of the police officers who are responsible for this small sector in the precinct. It's Police Officer Anthony Carassa and Police Officer James Taylor, no relation. And it gives me, this one, they have their email addresses. Just this alone is a tremendous amount of power. Information is power. That you have, say this was someone's building here in this room, and there were people hanging out at all hours of the night. There was loud music going on. There were graffiti signs. There were just whatever quiet life issues. You email both police officers. And so-and-so, I own this property, I manage this property. I could use some help with this. 9 out of 10 times, by the way, the police officer, gets right back to you, and they'll address it. They'll come down. They'll walk through, whatever it is. Don't underestimate what I'm telling you. I'm giving you very, very good information. I wish more people knew it. I'm giving you very good information here. Yes. So if you do a search, I give you the email address, it's proper, but it's a long one. If you just do really any search, NYPD, find my precinct. We'll do it right here, right now. Type in, if you like, your residence address, your building address, and you will see the precinct that your location is, and the sector you're in, and the contact information. Sometimes it's a phone number, sometimes it's the email address and phone number, but at a minimum, it's always the email address for your 2 police officers. You have 2 police officers assigned to each sector, so in case one's on vacation, one is out sick. This way we don't just leave it, okay, we have 1, and if you get it again, if not. It's 2. This way we always should have somebody who's available. Obviously, it could be at times a day or 2, depending on the weekends, the days off, vacation, but you will get that response. You will absolutely get that response, because that's what they're there for. That's their entire assignment, actually. It's not as much to go on to radio runs. They're in uniform to handle these type of community complaints and concerns. The same thing goes with that graffiti I spoke about. They have the resources to get the graffiti removal trucks. They have the resources to get nonprofits to come in, whether it's homelessness. Speaking about, I know I'm probably getting a question anyway, so I'm just gonna put it right out there. A homeless person hanging out in front of your building, sleeping in front of your building, putting up a tent in front of your building. Right? I don't think I'm saying anything that no one doesn't know already what happens in the city, unfortunately. But the direction here now, the direction from City Hall, is that we take quality of life concerns seriously. There's no more tents up in New York City used by homeless individuals. The mayor himself, this is something that I've never seen the mayor do. The mayor himself has gone into homeless tents and spoken to people who live there, very sad. And he himself spoke about how we can get them onto the public assistance, into an apartment, to something, so we don't have people living on the streets. It's not the right thing to do. How do we, as a city, even allow it? So if you can Google that as well, you can fact check anything I'm saying. The mayor himself has gone into these tents because he knows that it's just so wrong at every level, on the humanity level, to allow this. And then of course it breeds criminality. So there's that tent that's set up with homeless people on the streets. Again, that is also the right venue to reach out to your police officers, and say what's going on. A lot of times, we'll need a nonprofit to come with us, like Breakout, just for one example. And we work with them, we have a relationship with them, because like community affairs officers, a lot of times, we're better at speaking to people and say other police officers at times, whatever it is. A lot of times the nonprofits, they'll know how to speak to a person who's homeless. Because one of us go, maybe, we don't know how to have that initial conversation and we'll get that resistance. A lot of times, people that we do send to help us, even if it's mental health experts, thank you. Even if it's mental health experts, which is what is needed. The mayor has done multiple press conferences about mental health, especially in the transit system. It's no secret either. You go to the transit system where you see also not acceptable. We finally do have a mayor who's speaking the way that we all want to hear, and he's implementing the right things. So I'll be here for a little bit, and I'll just mention there's no time for questions. I can speak to you after though. I'll
That's the Clean Halls program. We move back to Clean Halls program. It'll get rid of a lot of problems that you're raising. It's a lost great program.
So we're going to talk about a lot of challenges facing the police department. That's one of them. I spoke about the district attorneys. We're doing the best that we can. I know that there's a big push, with what we're speaking about. It's a lengthy answer. We can go into detail of it, but I'll still be here to speak about it.
An expert police officer that inspects the property. Is that also the same?
Yeah, so they will, so either one of them are the police officers, or I just want to give an overall address. If you can't get a hold of somebody for some reason, they're not answering, whatever the case may be, I just wanted to give an email address that, if need be, to use. Like our oversight office. Community affairs at NYPD.org. Again, it's community affairs at NYPD.org. If there's no responsible police officer, I would say just give them, a couple of days, unless it's that serious, you want to use that email address. But that is it's community affairs at NYPD.org. That's our main office. That is a problem. You say that you're trying to get a hold of a police officer. That's when we have supervisors who monitor that email account, and we'll speak to either the precinct commander or supervisor of that precinct to make sure that we have to handle it. Thank you very much.